Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I am trying out a new concept this year for videos where every month I just do a monthly reading vlog. Now this isn't going to be the only reading vlog that I film every month throughout the year, but this video is just going to be a way for me to read things that I want to read that I can't fit into any video plans for the month. I'll be doing this once a month for the entire year, and I'm just going to read 3 books that I want to read that just don't fit anywhere else in the schedule for the month. In this video, you will be seeing me read The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon, one of my favorite authors. You guys know I talk about her all the time on this channel. She writes quiet horror, and I don't think this book is any different. It's dual timeline, per usual, generational kind of story. We're set first in the 1970s into the 1980s at this kind of very progressive asylum type of place with our grandmother figure, and then we are set kind of in contemporary times following the granddaughter, who's actually the main character of both storylines, but something's happened in between those 40-ish years that we don't know about yet. There are monster sightings, missing girls, and apparently this is a little Frankenstein-esque, so I'm really excited to get into this. I've heard good things about it. Second, I will be reading Sometimes I Lie by Alice Feeney, which is another one I'm super stoked to get into. I don't want to go in knowing a ton about this. I know Alice Feeney is not everyone's favorite. Some people have a lot of beef with her, but everything I've read from her I've really liked, and I like the way that she takes her thrillers, even if they are a little bit controversial. This one is following a woman who's in a coma. It's assumed that her husband is cheating on her, and I'll just read you the first page, okay? This is all we need to know. My name is Amber Reynolds. There are 3 things you should know about me. I'm in a coma, my husband doesn't love me anymore, and sometimes I lie. So that's the pitch for this. I don't want to go in knowing a ton about it. I just don't like to read thrillers that way. I like to be surprised by everything that happens. I think it makes it a little bit more fun. So that's going to be book number 2 for this video. And the third book in this video is going to be The Boy in the Field. This was recommended to me by my mom, so obviously I have to read it. I never heard of this before my mom passed it along to me, but we're in 1999, turn of the century times, and this boy shows up beaten in this field, and these kids come across him, and it's, I think, just them going about solving this little mystery of who this boy is, what happened to him, etc., etc. And that's gonna be the TBR for January that doesn't fit anywhere else into anything else. So let's go ahead and get started. I will update you when I've gotten a little bit further into The Children on the Hill. I've already read about 20% of it this morning, but I just don't really feel like I have a ton of thoughts to share with you yet, so I'll wait till I get a little bit further in, and I'll let you know what happens, what I think, what the vibes are. Sorry for the dryer noises in the background. I've just been listening to the audiobook and doing laundry since this morning when I filmed that intro clip. I'm about 50% of the way through now, and so far I'm really liking it. I've had a lot of time to just sit around and listen to it today because I've been waiting for the UPS man to show up so that I can hand him the box of something that I'm returning to Amazon, because it has lithium batteries in it, and apparently you have to have the UPS man put the label on it rather than you put the label on it yourself and take it to the post office. So I've pretty much wasted an entire day sitting at home doing nothing because I've had to wait for him to show up at my house. It's done now. He just came, and I figured it was a good time to update you. I've been kind of skirting around that this afternoon because I didn't want to get interrupted by him, because I just had a feeling that if I sat down and started to film, he would show up. But now he's come, the box is gone. We can talk about the book. I am enjoying the storyline a lot. All 3 perspectives. There's not necessarily one that I'm preferring, so that's a huge win, because usually when we have dual or triple timeline, there's always one that I prefer to read from. But in this case, I'm pretty invested in both of them, which is awesome. One thing I will say is that Jennifer McMahon's books, her more recent books, don't get scary until I feel well past the second half. There's some spooky things going on, but they don't line up with that horror that they are primarily recognized as until I would say the last third of the book. Whereas some of her earlier work is not like that. The Winter People, which is probably my favorite book by her, it's kind of creepy, scary from straight off the bat. So I find myself wanting to see that a little bit more, but that isn't necessarily taking away from my enjoyment of the storyline, if that makes sense. I just feel like if we're gonna market it as horror, it needs to get scary faster. Something I'm really liking that the story is doing is we are getting little snippets of someone that has written a book about the history of the inn/asylum. And we don't know what's happened there yet, but it was obviously kind of catastrophic. It probably, I think, brought the inn and the asylum down so that it was no longer functional. We have some guesses, but we are getting the little snippets from this person that's written this book to give us some insight into what went down in the 1970s. Maybe 1980s. I'm not sure. We don't know yet. I'm quite enjoying the direction the story's going, though. I think I can kind of piece together how it's all going to end up. Although I have heard a couple things that the ending is maybe a little bit problematic, like plot hole wise, or just like not as good as the rest of the book. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's kind of where I'm at right now with that. So I'll let you guys know when I finish it. I don't really have any interesting things going on today, so I don't have any like footage that I can throw in to make this more exciting. So this video is probably just mostly going to be us chatting about the books and not a lot in between. Good morning, loves. We have some sunshine for the first time in weeks, and it is actually shockingly bright. It's just reflecting off the snow on the ground, and it's blinding me a little bit, but I thought that I would take advantage of this good lighting to discuss with you. Oh my god, it's so bright. Hold on. Now there's a line on my face. Okay, this will do. I did finish The Children on the Hill yesterday, and I thought it was a really good fun time. I've been reading Goodreads reviews of it just because it kind of has a lower rating than I expected, and I guess some people are finding the end a little bit problematic, but I thought the end was really good. And also, there was a plot twist in here that maybe should have been obvious to me, but it absolutely blindsided me. I was shocked. I had all the pieces to put together that was gonna happen, but Jennifer McMahon usually doesn't throw in like an insane plot twist like that, so I wasn't expecting it, and it really took me by surprise. The pace at the end I thought was great. This book, while fictional, did open up some discussion for medical morality and medical ethics, which I thought was kind of interesting, and the bigger picture was actually really big. So overall, I had a really grand, fun time with this, and I would recommend it to anyone and everyone, even though it seems like anyone and everyone don't love it, but I loved it, and I really couldn't find the flaws in here. I will continue to say that this didn't really feel like horror, and I appreciate the direction that Jennifer McMahon is taking her writing, but it's just something that is evolving in a way that maybe I don't love as much from her specifically. Some of her older titles from 2017, 2016, 2018, I don't know why I just said those out of order, are like really my jam, and I find myself, while I still really like her newer, more recent things, wishing that they had the same like kind of haunting air about them and the kind of constantly spooky vibes that were kind of present throughout her earlier works. So I'm gonna leave that review at that. Let's also quickly talk. There's so much cat hair on this. I'm sitting on the cat's beanbag because it's right by my bookshelves, because my bookshelves are right by my window. The cats like to look out the window. Anyway, I'm sitting on that, and it's just covered in little furry tummy cat hair. So now my book is covered in that. I've read the first 50 pages of this, and I'm liking it so far. I just want to note that there is some discussion in a negative way about body types and women like losing themselves as they get older and like not putting on makeup every day, and it's not done in a way where it's like promoting that as an idea, like it's not justifying that, but that is something that's like constantly running through here. Literally every woman is like, oh, like she doesn't try as hard as she used to be, or she's fat, like, and I just feel like it's kind of unnecessary because it's coming from multiple women in this book. That's kind of distracting me from what's actually happening in the plot, because it's like mentioned so often about what these women's bodies look like, and I'm like, I actually don't care. And also, why? I'm sure that that's going to come into play and be like a larger theme in this about the expectations that women have to like present themselves in a certain mannerism in society, or at least I'm hoping that's what it's doing, because sorry, I'm losing my voice, I'm getting a little sick. If this is just throwing those in there just to throw them in there, then we just don't need that commentary, and I just can't be supporting that, because as someone who doesn't really like wearing makeup, who doesn't wear makeup very often, who barely ever even does my hair, I don't need to be told by a book that my vanity or lack thereof is not acceptable in society. And there's also right now kind of a lot of like women against women jealousy and like hate going on right now, and I just don't love that either. However, plot wise, I'm fairly intrigued. No one has been murdered or has died. Our main character's in a coma, which we already knew, but she doesn't really have any memory of what happened to her, and the circumstances are also kind of confusing for her. She's apparently been in a car accident. She overhears the nurses in her room talking to her about it, but she doesn't drive, and she's like, well, how would I have been in a car accident? And she also learns that no one else was involved, so she's like, what did I crash into? She's having these weird like memories, and we just started getting perspectives of her in her childhood as well. So we get her in a coma perspective, we get her a week earlier perspective, and then we are getting her childhood journal entries, which obviously we love, like a mixed media insertion into any book. That's a great driving point. Also, something that I didn't really realize as I picked this up, but this is set the week of Christmas, so like December 20th through the 27th, I believe. So if you're looking for a Christmas thriller to add to your list, or if you just like to read books set around Christmas time in the month of December, this is that. A lot of times I find it hard to find any information about thrillers, especially set in December or around Christmas. And I'm someone who likes to read seasonally. So this is like a perfect time for me to pick this up, even though it's technically the week after Christmas now. But I'm having an okay time, and that's pretty much all I can tell you review-wise so far. I know Alice Feeney traditionally delivers plot twists that for me personally are unexpected. And that's also kind of what causes problems with her books, is people don't like that a lot of times her plot twists are something you couldn't have figured out yourself, because she doesn't give you the information to put the pieces together until she's telling you. And I'm okay with that, because I like to be surprised, even if it's something that I couldn't have figured out myself. Go off, surprise me, thrill me. I'm gonna just be reading this today, and I don't have a ton of other plans. My university, which I no longer attend because I graduated, but the school that I used to go to is playing in the championship for our division football game today. So I'm going to my parents' house to watch that, because obviously that's pretty cool. So I'm going to my parents' house later today, watching that on TV, and otherwise I don't have a ton that needs to happen today. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll let you know when I get a little farther into this, and I'll see you soon. Y'all, I just read about 50-60 more pages of this. I'm just letting my car warm up while I get ready to drive to my mom's. So I thought that while that's happening, I could give you another update. And the update is that even though I've passed page 100 now, still absolutely nothing has happened. Second thing I want to say is this is apparently Alice Feeney's debut, which I didn't realize. So now my expectations have been lowered a little bit, but still nothing has happened. Literally nothing has happened. I just don't love a domestic thriller the way that I used to, and that's what this is. And I was expecting at least some sort of like little reveal or something by now, but it has just not happened. I don't think I'm gonna update you again until I finish this, even though there's still like 200 pages left, but I'm not super impressed with what this is doing right now. Hello friends, it is Monday, and it is the most Monday of all the Mondays I have had in a long time. I've tried to film this clip about 8 times. The cats are climbing all over the desk. You're gonna be shaking. People keep texting me. People keep needing things from me. I keep getting interrupted, so we're just gonna film this clip no matter what happens, and if it's chaotic, that's gonna be fine. I woke up this morning to an email that I needed to renew my renter's insurance. I also needed to pay my energy bill. I had like 4 Poshmark orders, which literally never happens, but I woke up and had to deal with that this morning. Not that I don't greatly appreciate any sales I make. It's just like, why today of all days do we need to add that on top of errands and things that I need to do? So I have a big stack of boxes by my door that I have to take to the post office. Insert my promotional clip of me telling you to join Poshmark with my link if you want to sell your clothes, make some money, join with my Poshmark link. You'll get $10 to shop with on the app, and there's no catch. You just sign up with my link and you get the $10. That's how it works. This video is not sponsored by Poshmark. I am a Poshmark ambassador, which doesn't really mean anything. Other than that, I have the ability to promote the app and give you some money for it. So anyway, let's chat about the book now. I'm giving this 2.5 stars. It's very debut coded. Let's talk about things that I didn't like first. As you have already heard from me in previous clips, literally nothing happens in the first 153 pages of this book, to be precise, because I did mark the exact moment that things started to happen, and it was on page 153. This book could have told the exact same story. Stop eating my plant. This book could have told the exact same story had it been 200 pages instead of 256 pages or 258 pages or whatever. And then I could have saved an hour of boredom, and I probably could have given this a higher rating overall. There was never any discussion about the lack of body positivity in this book, or the presence of body negativity in this book, maybe, is what I'm trying to say. That was just never really addressed. This was twisty. It had some good twists. There were others that I saw coming. Alice Feeney always writes multiple twists, which I really appreciate. I don't love a thriller that leads up to just one big plot twist. The chapters were nice and short. The pacing was good once things actually started to happen, but I just can't forgive the 153 pages where nothing happened. I cannot get over that. I get that you need to give me an intro, you need to give me some background, you need to make me start questioning things, but we don't need to do that for 153 pages. Who would I recommend this to? People that have never read a thriller in their life before. I think you could get into this, but knowing what I like and what my taste is, if you are a seasoned thriller reader, or if you're questioning if you like Alice Feeney, I don't think that this book will make you like Alice Feeney. I think this will turn you away from her. Start with maybe His and Hers instead. I think that's probably my favorite Alice Feeney book. This is gonna go straight to the unhaul pile, so I'm sure you'll see it again in another video when I sit down to film an unhaul video. I have not started reading The Boy in the Field yet. I don't know if I'll get there today. Today just keeps getting more and more chaotic. I have to go to work soon. I still haven't even prepped choreo or anything for work today, so I've got to take a time out and do that and respond to some emails and get my life in order. And I also have to go try to feed myself at some point today because I really have no food in my home. I hope you're enjoying this little scene of cats in the background. I'm going to stop this clip now. I'll let you know when I have become more organized and capable of communicating to you intelligent thoughts about books. Hey, so I'm throwing a plot twist your way now. Who am I? Alice Feeney? Just kidding. Alice Feeney put a bad taste in my mouth for thrillers this week, and I don't want to read another one now because she made me grumpy, and I don't want to read another thriller, so I'm not going to. So I decided that I'm going to read this instead, The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. Beloved modern classic. Neil Gaiman is the author of Coraline. If you didn't know, now you do. This is a very short, magical realism story that I have been dying to get into for a long time, and now seemed like the right time because Sometimes I Lie really just dampened my reading spirit. So far this year, I think that was the 8th or 9th book that I've read this year. I'm really cruising through books this January. But so far, everything has been above a 3-star, and that was my first thing below a 3-star, and then it put me in a really bad mood, and I just don't want to read another thriller now, which I already said. Sorry, it's so late at night and I'm tired, but I started reading this. It's nice and short, and it's really not what I was expecting, but in like a good way. Like, I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. And honestly, I'm not even really sure how to talk to you about it yet. I'm just over 50 pages in, and I'm not sure how to form thoughts, but I will give you a plot synopsis. We are following this young boy who's actually an adult now. It's decades later, but he's kind of thrown into his past. He's in his hometown from when he was a child for a funeral, and he ends up at this neighbor's house that he spent a lot of time at when he was a boy. This family is seeming to have some like speculative magical powers. This boy does not, but he witnesses something kind of traumatic. It sort of sets off a chain of events that are a little bit surreal, and it's really good. I don't read a ton of just like plain magical realism, surrealism. In fact, I think this is the first one I've read in like a couple of years now, and it's really refreshing. I think that this is maybe just what I needed. I have no feelings yet about rating, but I'm having a nice time, and I just wanted to share that with you because this is something that I have wanted to read for a long time, so I'm finally doing it today, right now. I'm so sorry that this vlog has been really boring and I've done literally nothing. I actually feel really bad, but that's kind of the purpose of these videos, is that they're not planned. They're just so that I can provide you some book reviewing content when none of the books fit into my content. How about I hold up the cat and you can enjoy that? For anyone that's new to my channel, this is my cat Gigi. I also have a cat named Tinkerbell. She does not like to be held. Gigi is my angel baby. Oh, look at that face. She's precious. I love you.
Kitties. Hi, babies. Hi, Chi-Chis. Such pretty girls.
Morning, friends. I thought we could talk a little bit about this while I'm getting ready for my day. Right now I'm getting ready to film a winter books recommendation video, and I honestly think that this might make an appearance in there. I did this for fall and you guys seem to really like that, so I'm gonna keep that train going. We're gonna do a winter one. I think that video is going up after this one, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It'll be posted on a Sunday, just like all of my videos. Let's go ahead and get into this a little bit. I'm about 150 pages in, so I have a little less than 100 pages left, and I am just obsessed with it so far. I'm still finding it kind of hard to talk about. Like, I had to like sit down before I turn on the camera and just discuss with myself what I was going to say. Essentially, I would pitch this to you as a children's story written for adults, because obviously our main character is this like little boy, but he's dealing with very hard things in his life, both in real life and with the kind of dangerous magical chain of events that he and Letty are involved in. Charming landscape set on the English countryside. I am a sucker for a book set on the English countryside. I just don't think that atmosphere can ever do wrong in my eyes. I just read kind of a really hard scene where there is some abuse, some familial abuse, and I just wanted to kind of disclose that. I feel like I knew that that was gonna happen, but just in case that's triggering for you, maybe this isn't the greatest choice ever as a read. The magical realism itself is done in this really haunting way. The pacing of this is just incredible, and I'm so invested in both our characters and just the storyline in general. I am just so drawn in right now that I just want to sit on my couch and do nothing else but finish this, which is so amazing. I love when a book makes me feel that way, and today would be such a perfect day to do it if I didn't have to go to work later, but alas, I work every single day, so that is not an option. However, this weekend it is supposed to be 10 and 20 below. It's already pretty chilly outside, but we're supposed to have like 3 days of really cold weather, and I'm filming a fantasy reading vlog starting this weekend, so I think that that will be perfect. Hopefully I love one of those books as much as I'm loving this one. I'm gonna go film, finish this, go to work. I don't know if I'll update you this afternoon or tomorrow, but I'll see you when this is done. Okay, friends, let's get ready to wrap this video up. I finished this. I really liked it. I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Are you okay? I just love Neil Gaiman's appreciation and love for cats. I just wish that every book had a cat in it. The cats in this story, there's multiple cats, they are just spoken about with such love, and that's not even like relevant to what this book is actually about, but the cats do play a role in here, and I just really appreciate the devotion that they get, like the on-page time. 10 out of 10. I don't really have a ton more to say than what I said to you yesterday. Like I said, this is essentially a children's story written for adults. In particular, I really enjoyed the epilogue to this. It tied everything together really, really well. Sometimes I don't love epilogues and I feel like they're just in there to give a happy ending, but this epilogue really sent a great message that I appreciate, and I'm glad that it was in here. This book is really just encapsulating the feelings of childhood, and I just appreciate what it did. I will say that the magical realism got a little bit wonky for me in those last couple chapters. I didn't love that. That I would say is the main reason why I'm not giving this a full 5 stars. It was a little bit too simplistic towards the end, kind of went in a direction that I was expecting, and I wish that it could have been just a little bit more creative. But overall, I had a really nice time reading this. It definitely deserves all of the hype that it has. And I'm glad that I finally knocked it off my to-read list and it doesn't have to sit on the shelves staring at me longingly every time that I walk by. That just about wraps this video up. Thank you so much for watching, for hanging out. I'm so sorry that we didn't do literally anything in this entire video. I promise that I will try to make these just like monthly kind of unplanned vlogs more interesting in the future, but this is the prototype, right? Like this is the first time that I've done this, so now I have learned that I need to at least do something exciting in these for you. And I'll see you with another video soon. Bye.